Good evening everybody, hello and welcome to the XRL GP3 division brought to you on Excite Racing League Channel 2. Round the, land of the Rising Sun here tonight, round 15 of the GP3 division. In the box tonight you have myself, XRL Bobbert, and my co-commentator tonight, Paul Marley, aka XRL Button. Good evening to you, Paul.
Good evening.
Well, we've got 11 drivers on the grid tonight. Everybody's just about to complete their, some people have already completed their first runs at the moment, and currently Shadowhunter is currently on pole with a 36.9. But personally, we will be seeing times probably in the mid to low 36s, I would expect, with the likes of Smithical last night, who did race in the F1 division, qualifying with a 36.2. So hopefully he can repeat that again. And well, actually saying that, Indigo's now just on a 36.2 and goes provisional pole for the time being. So there's the benchmark, and I personally think that is going to be the time to be. And I think it's going to be between the two Force Indias tonight as to who's going to take pole position and probably the win. But let's get out onto the track and see what is what. So let's go back from Indigo, who is on pole at the moment. Samster is just coming through the S's at the moment in the start of Sector 1. Taking it very nicely, just about getting onto the apex there on the last part here of the S's through this, up the hill to on the this left-hander, just about kicking up the dust though on the exit on the grass, but gets away with that. Into the first Degner, beautifully taken through there, into the second Degner, which is one of the most difficult corners on the track, and Samson's just proven that. Did not get the car stopped in time and clipped the gravel as a result. Into the hairpin, which on previous games was very easy to get the car stopped in, even on this game. But if you go back onto the likes of F1 2012, I believe it was, where it was a really difficult corner not to lock up, and no such problems there for Samster. Up the hill now into the spoon curve. Takes the first part very nicely. Doesn't quite use the whole of the track. Slightly compromised for the second part, and once again going slightly wide this time on the exit, just about avoiding the gravel this time. Time looks reasonable, 1:17 as he goes under the DHL board. Probably going to be expecting that this could be around about a high 36, maybe low 37 here from Samson as he comes into the Casio chicane. Very nicely taken through there, gets on the power pretty well. Doesn't really get a lot of oversteer on the exit. Let's see what he does. It's a 37.1, which puts him P5 for the moment, but I think two mistakes on that lap cost him really, and that could have been a lot better. John Digweed, who is also on a lap, he's got gravel all over his tyres, or grass, and he doesn't look like he's going to be improving on his lap time. Enema Mr. Indigo, I think he's messed up that first sector already, so let's go backwards on board the 11th place man, who's last at the moment. That's RC Rapids on a 1:40.2. Not really the not a particularly fast lap time at the moment as he comes through the spoon curve. Takes that pretty sweetly though, and kicks up, clips the curb on the exits, and very nicely taken. But again, the time doesn't look particularly quick. He's about 2 seconds off the pace by this middle sector as he comes through 1:30. Easy flat through there, breaking into the Casio chicane. Could have broke a little bit later, and he's realised that he's hit the bollards actually on the inside. He's actually boxing as a result of it. So Paul, just because
F1 speed crosses the lane as he improves, but he's MP6 still.
So I'm going to ask you first, Paul. Who's your prediction for pole position? Just bearing in mind Indigo's time at that 36.2, I think that's going to be really difficult to beat.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to beat, but I'm going to say Indigo's going to stay pole.
I'm actually going to go with his teammate Smithical. Smithical does look really good around this circuit, as he did last night. So I personally think it's going to be between the two Force Indians for both pole position and for the win. So Smithical's also my prediction for the win. Are you going to stick with Indigo as your prediction for the win as well, or do you fancy a change maybe?
I'll fancy a change for the win because Indigo didn't have consistency yesterday in F1, so I'm going to go with AOR no namer.
Interesting, yes, AOR. Oh, RSC5 just going into the gravel there, the exit of the spoon corner. But yeah, AOR no namer, who is an F5 driver coming in tonight for GP3. He is very quick. He has told me he's been setting low to mid 36s in qualifying, and I am now on board with him. Currently only on a 37.9 though, as he starts his next flying lap. Takes the first couple of corners very well there now into the S's here. He's got a car in front of him though, that's not going to help. He's going to be picking up the dirty air, but saying that he's kept it very well and very fast through those S's. But that Williams now seems to be in his way, and I wonder if that's going to really compromise him. No, the Williams now gets out of his way, so shouldn't really affect him too much. Into the first Degner, beautifully taken into the second one. Oh, a little bit of a cut there, and didn't take the speed through it as a result. So a little bit scruffy there for the start of sector 2 here from AOR but into the hairpin. Nicely on the apex, just waiting to get onto the throttle, and there he goes now, up the hill, then back down the hill, and then back up again as you head towards the spoon curve. I mean, we saw some good overtakes here last season in XRL, and hopefully we might get a repeat again tonight. What was the reaction for them, Paul? Did somebody make a mess of something?
So there's 1/100th of a second between Samster and Mr. Indigo for pole.
Oh, so Samster,
both on 136.2.
Samster pulling that lap out then, so very good work from him. AOR is on an improvement on this current lap. Broke a bit too early, I think, there for the Casio chicane, but he takes and clips the apexes beautifully. Coming down now, gets a little bit squiggly, as you like to call it, Paul, out of the final corner, but a 36.9, he improves to 4th place for the time being, so really good showing there from AOR No-Namer. Shadow Hunter now also on a 36.9. He is on the front of the second row, but he's just over 6/10 off pole position. So the top two have got it in their hands at the moment. And Shadow Hunter comes through the first 2 corners, not bad, didn't take it too badly, and gets on the power pretty well. And now into the S's, misses the first part completely, which can really compromise you through the rest. But he's managed to pick that up, and he's upped his game. As Petronas has just sent me a message saying, I hate spoon corners. Well, that's your opinion. Shadowhunter's now been demoted to 4th place, so somebody has improved in front of him. Not too sure who that is, as he just come through the
XRL Fozzie's taken pole by 130 dead. Or 130.
XRL Fozzie there with the lap out of nowhere. That is fantastic from him. It's good to have Fozzie back in racing again. I'm glad that I've asked him to come in and racing tonight, and he's taken, well, provisionally pole position. I should have asked him what qualifying times he was doing, but never mind. So Shadowhunter coming up the hill now, into the spoon curve. Misses the apex on the first one, uses all the track though to his advantage, and clips the apex on the second part, but he doesn't get the traction and the power down. It's a bit of a scruffy lap here from Shadowhunter, if I do say so. His time doesn't really... It's actually slower than what he's actually done, but we'll stay on board with him as he comes through 130R. Keeping it around about 200 miles an hour there, finds his braking point for the Casio chicane, slightly cut in the first part, but wasn't too bad, but it doesn't look like it's going to be an improvement. Okay, maybe it was a big improvement, 36.5 there from Shadowhunter. He improves, well, he stays in P4, but he improves his time. The speed demon now has sent me a message. He hits Muller corners. It's an interesting one. Just going to say, guys, if you've got any messages in, I would recommend you send them in to Xbox Live, because I'm not going to be on the Twitch channel box tonight, unless Paul's going to be. But yeah, get your messages into myself, XRL Button, or to XRL Button, and we will read them out if and when we can. So let's go back on board with somebody else. Rapids has now improved to a 37 flat. He's up to P6, so he's improved on his time quite significantly. That's a good word. John Digweed now in the Ferrari. He's been on the podium the past few races. He has been a man on form at the moment with his alternative strategies. Can he do a similar repeating performance tonight? Oh, just about missing the ball out on the inside of the Casio chicane, trying to get that car turned in. This is an improvement from him. It's a 36.7, puts him P5.
Rabbits went too far away in the spin corner there, which is going to lose him a load of time.
It is.
Is he going to have enough fuel to do one more lap though?
Quite possibly, yeah. Smithical now did a 36.2 last night in the F1 division. He's a second slower currently so far tonight. He's down in P9, and he's missed the entry into the Casio chicane. That's really compromised him. He's trying to push too hard to try and get ahead of F1 Speed, who's also not having a great qualifying. But he's improved. Well, he's improved to a 37.0, but he's still only in P8. Where he's got one more attempt, as there is a car leaving the pit, which is no point in doing because they're not going to have enough time. It's a Williams. I wonder if that's RC Rapids or is it... don't Who else is in it, Williams? Actually, is it just that? It might just be RC Rapid.
Yeah, it's RC Rapid who slowed right down.
Well, F1 Speed now, he's down into 10th place. Not where the championship leader wanted to be, but I think he'd be quite thankful and glad that his main rival, Smithville, he's only 2 places ahead of him at the moment. So F1 Speed now, coming out of the S's, up through the hill now. This has been a good lap so far, I would say. Looking at the reference points, looks like it's a very low 35 first sector, so it's bang on the pace. But can he keep this up? The Williams there getting well out of his way as he exits the Degners up the hill through the right kink and into the hairpin now. Clips the apex beautifully there as F1 Speed gets the traction, puts the power down now, up this like little roller coaster effect really before you get into the spoon curve. Into 7th gear now, dropping 3 gears down into 4th. Through the spoon curve, beautifully taken on the first part. Turned in too early though for the second part, compromised him slightly, but he still managed to get the power down. It looks like it is an improvement of a lap. In fact, it definitely is an improvement of a lap. This is a good lap here from F1 Speed. This should be getting him towards the front of the field actually. It should be a 36. Let's see how he does into the final set. Oh, he took 2 bites of the cherry there though, turning into the Casio chicane, probably lost a couple of tenths. Gets the power down now. Goes to the far as the inside as he dares. DRS open. Where does he improve? It's only to 7th. Only P7 on the 36.5. I think he cost himself a couple of tenths there. As Tom Chambers now, he's not going to improve. He's on a 1:40. John Digweed's gone second on a 36.257, and he's literally a few hundredths off. Indigo's now down to 3rd. And he looks like he's on a decent lap himself. So let's stay on board with the Force India driver. As he's just exiting 130 on now, just a couple of corners to go into the Casio chicane. Slightly wide in the first part, but pretty good on the second part. Is this going? This looks like an improvement. This is going to be pole for Indigo. Look at that, 135.6. That is phenomenal speed there from NMR Mr. Indigo. He should take pole position now. John Digweed's down into 3rd on the front row of the second grid. Gets a little bit of oversteer and bad traction. How's the time looking? I don't think it's going to be an improvement. Indeed it's not. There's 1 car left out on track, and that is Samster, but he's going slowly. He's done for qualifying. He's P4, so let's have a look at this. So Indigo, with that final run, takes pole position with a 35.6. That's laying down a benchmarker to the rest of the field. XRL Fozzie coming in tonight. He starts P2. So a very good performance there from him. John Digweed starts 3rd. Samster's 4th. Mythical improved, and he's up into 5th with a 36.5, just ahead of Shadowhunter, who is 6th. F1 Speed starts 2 places behind his championship rival. He's 7th. Tom Chambers 8th. A1 on him and starts 9th. He'll be a little bit disappointed, I think, with his qualifying. Rapids is 10th, and an RC for Life are quite a bit off the pace actually to everybody else with that 38.5. But that was a fantastic qualifying. Everybody's pretty close, and then out of nowhere, Indigo just puts in that lap time.
30. How did he even get that lap time in?
Well, I'm shocked myself. That could even potentially be maybe even a 10th quicker, because he was a little wide, I think, going into the start of the Casio chicane. But he must have had an immense 1st and 2nd sector.
It's like I said last night. Now, it's all in that first sector. If you nail the first sector, you've got to.
I know. I mean, that was my downfall last night, because I've been setting 34.6s and 34.7s, and then when it came to the real thing, I couldn't even get into the 34s. I was on like a 35.1, I think. So I was like half a second off what I should have been doing. It's that first sector that's your make or break lap, really, isn't it?
Yeah, them S's are really hard to get right. If you get the right line coming into the first corner, you've got a great exit, and then you can work it through, but you got to get the right exit coming out of it for the next corner.
Well, this is interesting. We had 32% chance of rain for this race, and it is starting on the intermediate tyres.
I think that's the first time in XRL the rain has been at the start.
No, I don't think it has been. I think there has been a couple, but not very many. It's tend to have come during the race at some point. So this is going to throw a spanner into the works for some people. So, oh, Jesus, I nearly went out onto track then. I wouldn't have been the most popular person then. But let's do a rundown from the back to the front. So RC for Life starts 11th and just outside the points. Rapids is 10th. AOR No Name is 9th. Tom Chambers in the Mercedes, he's 8th. F1 Speed Championship leader is in 7th. Hoping for a good result tonight. I think, well, I don't think that's really where he wanted to be in qualifying, but he has got the race pace, so look out for him as the race goes by. Shadowhunter starts in P6. Smithfield is 5th. Samster starts in P4. John Digweed is 3rd. XRL Fozzie, probably a little bit of a shock really, but a very good shock nonetheless. He starts in 2nd place. And then NMR Mr. Indigo, once again showing that he has got the pace, and he's, well, he was more than a third of a second clear to gain that pole position. So, well, I'm still sticking with my prediction. I'm still going with Smithfield, and I guess you're going to be sticking with Mr. Indigo, Paul.
Yeah.
Thoughts, man.
Especially with that pace and lap time, which is F1 pace.
Well, that if he did that time last night in the F1 division, he would have been on pole position. Somebody clearly not wanting to wait and wanting to get going. So, 27 laps here under the land of the rising sun here in Suzuka, Japan. Can Indigo hang on for his win? Well, for a win here tonight. Can Fozzie do anything about it? And what could the two main championship leaders do, starting 5th and 7th respectively? Obviously, the other way we're going to find out is getting out onto the track.
Shortly, be aware. Let's do it.
Let's do this shiz. I said shiz.
But you didn't put the proper letter in there?
Yeah. I know. Oh, who gives a cheese about the water shit? I said cheese. Why did I say cheese?
I don't know, but I was editing out your first word by beeping.
Interesting that the Manchester United Arsenal score currently is 1-1. Very interesting.
Ooh.
It's indeed. So let's get out onto the track. Indigo taking, well, I think it's his 3rd pole position this season. I'm not entirely sure, but here we go, everybody. 27 laps here. Intermediate tyres is the choice for all the drivers at the start of this race. Once these 5 red lights go out, we will be racing. So it's lights out, and away we go here under the land of the rising sun. And let's see how everybody's managed to start. Indigo's managed to get a decent start. Actually, it's actually XRL Fozzie's had a bit, who's bogged down a little bit. He's under pressure from the Ferrari of John Digweed to go. Oh, one of the Force Indies has gone off and spun. Oh. That's Smithical, because Indigo's leading. Smithical has already lost it. He's gone into the gravel, and he's down into last already. F1 Speed will be absolutely loving that. So Indigo holds on. He stays in the lead. Fozzie managed to hold off into 2nd place, and actually John Digweed's lost out. And it's actually one of the Mercedes now into 3rd place. So that's Shadowhunter's gone from 6th to 3rd. He's had a fantastic start in that Mercedes. Behind him, in P4, we have Samster, so he stayed where he is. John Digweed's been the loser so far. He's down into 5th. He had a decent start off the line, but I think getting into that little squabble with Fozzie has cost him. Behind him is the 2nd Red Bull. So that's going to be A1 No Name. He's gained 3 places off the start, so he's had a good start himself. Behind him, I think that's F1 Speed. Indeed it is, so he's remained in 7th place. He's got his teammate right, and no, it's not his teammate. Oh, sidepod glitch. The Mercedes there taking a lunge on the inside and costing people, well, cost F1 Speed, and it was Rapids who took advantage. He's up into 7th now, so F1 Speed down into 8th. RSC for Life is 9th, and then behind, so Smithical is now 10th. So who's in last place? This was Tom Chambers that outbroke himself. He's normally somebody who's really good in these wet conditions, and he's just simply outbroken himself, and he's made a huge mistake, and he's quite far off the back at the moment. But let's get him back on board with the leaders. NMR Mr. Indigo has not pulled the gap to Fozzie, and he's gone quite wide. The first part of the Castle chicane as Shadowhunter could just completely miss in the 2nd part there, straight lining it pretty much, but doesn't gain an advantage and stays behind Fozzie. But Fozzie will not be enjoying these conditions. He doesn't like the wet weather. But so far, well, it's only been 1 lap, but he's had a good start so far, and he's held on to Indigo.
Well, as long as you keep it in lean, you're going to have enough fuel to run rich for your last stint, so...
One thing we should have spoken about, Paul, actually, before we even started streaming, was who are we going to watch? Because I'm going to watch 2 constructors, and I'll leave you to do the other 7 if that's okay. So, let's have a quick look. If I do... Interesting that No Namer has a 10-second penalty, as does Tom Chambers. Very interesting.
Wondering if No Namer pushed Smithical off.
Potentially. What I'll do is I will watch the Force India and Marussia. Alright, we'll do it that way. So, back on board. Sorry about that. Apologies, people, that we had to speak about that, but that's just me not getting prepared. Indigo's managed to pull out a little bit of a gap to Fozzie on this lap. He's got about a few tenths of a second at the moment, but Fozzie should be better in this middle sector as they come down towards 130 yards. Shadowhunter still remains about the same gap as to what it is between Fozzie and Indigo out in front, but there's a bit of a gap behind them. Samster's falling off the base, and there's a battle for P5 still going on. It's AOR No Namer versus John Digweed. John Digweed on the inside as they come into 130 yard. I think AOR No Namer is trying to make the move, but he's just gone off the road. He's much later on the brakes though than John Digweed as they come into the Casio chicane. John having to cut the second pass lane. He was trying to defend, I believe, because No Namer was, I don't know which round it was, but John Digweed's in 5th anyway. No Namer is down into 6th. Behind them in 7th place is still RC Rapids. I believe it's F1 Speed. Is he still in 8th? Indeed he is. He is in 8th place at the moment. Smithical's gone up a place. He's into 9th. He's got ahead of RC for life, so now he's got F1 Speed ahead of him. So F1 Speed will probably not really care too much. The fact he's only in the bottom end of the points, just so long as Smithical is behind him.
Yeah, because he wants to really, take the championship. I think you said by Bill.
He said USA. So basically, that's after tonight, after next week in Russia, and the following week, which is USA. So he's got 3 races, including tonight.
Well, once it dries up, you'll see pace kicking up a bit, but depends what lap it starts to dry up at.
Indeed, it definitely does. Oh, FC5 making a mistake there. Let's go back on towards the front. Indigo has managed to pull out a big gap on this lap. And Fozzie has lost a fair bit of ground, actually. So Indigo seems to be better in these intermediate conditions for the time being. Shadowhunter trying to close in on the back of Fozzie, but maybe the turbulent air... Why did it just put me back on Fozzie again? I do not know. But Shadowhunter trying to close in, but it's not really at this moment. Samster now has got John Digweed staring right at the back of his gearbox as they come into 130R. He's going to make a lunge though into the Castle chicane. He's not quite close enough. John, we know, is another driver who's really good in these wet conditions. He'll need to be taking full advantage. He had a poor start, but let's see if he can make up the ground now as he's trying to settle into a rhythm. And he's managed to keep ahead of AOR No Namer. Get into the slipstream of Samster. No DRS, obviously. Into turns 1 and 2. He's not quite close enough to make a move, and Samster holds on for the time being. Really close battle going on a little further down. I wonder if that is involving F1 Speed and Smithical. Indeed, it is involving F1 Speed and Smithical. Smithical right on the gearbox now of F1 Speed. Smithical set at 42.7. He's one of the quickest drivers in these conditions at the moment. I think behind his teammate, who's clearly pulling out the gap at the front. So let's stay on board with this championship battle between these two great rivals, but also good friends, actually, apparently, at the same time as well.
Enemies?
I wouldn't say enemies.
No, frenemies.
Oh, frenemies. Sorry, my apologies. Smithical there trying.
It's a new word in English.
Smithical trying to get the traction down as they came out of the hairpin now up the hill towards the spin curve.